Meantime, in Los Angeles today, there is another law and order story to tell you about. 3 women joining forces and speaking out publicly saying they were sexually assaulted by Bill Cosby. Their attorney is Gloria Allred, who joins me now with one of those women. Her name is Beth Ferrier. How you doing, Beth?
Awesome, thank you.
You're fine. Gloria, thank you both for joining us. You held a very emotional press conference today with these 3 women, including Beth, who alleged that they were sexually assaulted by Bill Cosby. What's your message?
Well, my message, Don, is one that I'm sending to Bill Cosby, and that is it's time for justice and it's time for accountability. It's time to end the nightmare, and let's provide a way for these alleged victims to have their day in court. I propose 2 options to Mr. Cosby. One is he could waive and give up and not assert the statute of limitations. So many of the women across the country who have contacted me would not be able to file a lawsuit, or they could file it, but then it could be dismissed if he asserted that it was too late for them to have filed the lawsuit. That's the statute of limitations, an arbitrary time period set by law.
Number 2?
And so, in other words, if he would waive that, then they could have a trial, and then he could testify, and they could testify, and then a judge and jury could decide if he's telling the truth or if they're telling the truth.
Okay.
Number 2 is he could decide to have this done confidentially. He could have a panel of retired judges, and that's what I'm proposing. They could act as arbitrators. The victims who allege that they have been the victims of sexual misconduct or drugging or both by Mr. Cosby could go before the retired judges in the retired judges' offices and present their claims. Mr. Cosby could then present his defenses to the retired judges. If the retired judges found that any merit to the victims' claims, then they could award some damages as appropriate, as they find is appropriate in those cases. That could all be done confidentially, and that would be, in a way, a day in court. It would help to promote healing for him and help him.
You know how this works, and because I want to hear from your client, I don't have a lot of time, and I think it's very important to hear from Beth. So, Beth, with all due respect, can you please take us back to what happened with you and Bill Cosby?
Yes, please. It's as if it happened today. My story is one that's been needed to be shared. I'm coming up because, again, it's the truth. I passed the lie detector test. I have, since 1984, when I met Mr. Cosby in New York City, I had the opportunity of not only meeting Mr. Cosby, but also then entering into a relationship with him. And at that time, I never knew to the caliber of what that relationship would entail, but once that happened, again, I wanted to have a relationship actually with his producer on his show, Jeff Brown, who is actually someone who I really care for greatly because Mr. Cosby was married, and I did not feel that his advances were, at that time or any time, what I needed to do and wanted to do. But he would not let that go, and now here I am at 55, coming forward once again, only to support something that for the last 9 years has haunted me. The National Enquirer took my story and dumped it.
The National Enquirer this was back in 2005, but
2005.
I'm going to get to the National Enquirer, but you were a model in the 80s. You met Bill Cosby,
yes, I was.
Correct? And you,
yes,
what you're saying to the viewers is that you had an affair with him, and that my understanding is that when you broke it off, that's when the alleged assault happened.
Yes, that is true.
And then you told your story back in 2005 to the National Enquirer. They never published your interview. What happened?
Well, a great question, because until this week, thank you to CNN, they broke the story that the deposition came forth that Mr. Cosby, in fact, in court, mentioned my name and stated that, with the Andrea Constance piece, that he was most concerned about my story because they took my book and my lie detector test, which they submitted to him, and he was aware of what was going on, and they took that, and nothing happened. I never heard another word other than that People magazine was brave enough to then believe in another Jane Doe, myself, Barbie Bowman, and Tamara Green, and actually produced a story once the court case that day was settled out of court.
And all of that, and all of this started to roll out, and here we are. But I have to ask you,
yes,
is
sir.
it similar? Do you claim to be drugged like all the other? Did he drug you like all the other women are saying?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
And that was after she alleges that she terminated the relationship with him.
Thank you.
That
yes.
she then alleges that, you know, that he put something in her drink.
Did you speak to him?
Me. He wanted me.
So he put something in your drink, and then what happened?
Well, as in my interview today with Miss Allred and all, it's the same thing over and over. Not a lot other than I confronted him directly that evening, or that morning, actually, in Denver, Colorado, at the Oxford Hotel. And I went to him, and he said to me again, "You come in, lay down, lay next to me. You must have had too much to drink." And it was essentially from there that I broke off again. I never saw him again until 1988, because you have to understand, he continued to contact me and offer me trips with anywhere, you know, to Taos and Vegas and all these places, and I would say no. I would absolutely say no. He'd call my family, he'd call my mother, he'd call everyone trying to find me, and I just refused. But I did go and several times see him in New York on the set at his Silver Star Studios when they moved set, because I felt that I had my friends with me on the set, that I could show him that I was doing very well and I was alive and strong.
And you felt it was easier because you had friends with him, the safety in numbers.
Absolutely.
It's still raw for you. You see, you're welling up, and it's tough for you to talk about this. You've been carrying this around for a long time.
My life ended the day I met Bill Cosby. It did. It did.
But hopefully now she's an empowered woman now that she knows that
yes,
there are people who will listen to her, and there are those who really believe her and understand that she's been through a lot. She was a Jane Doe in Andrea's lawsuit, the one that was ultimately settled, the one involving Bill Cosby.
Gloria, I can't let this go by. You said your life ended the day you met Bill Cosby. Why do you say that?
Because he is as powerful, and I'm a Christian, he's as powerful or more powerful than God, and you don't mess with God. So
he has that much power.
I've learned my lessons, I suppose. Yes, sir. Absolutely. No, absolutely. So the words that you hear from these other women about these things, I've never met any of these women. I've requested that. I'm hoping that you, CNN, will be brave enough. We are here. We are proud. We are alive. We're hearing the things happening in New York about humanity and justice. We want our story heard too. We're up there in the humanity piece, please. That's why we have Gloria Allred with us, please, because no one would listen to us.
What would you like to hear from Bill Cosby?
I would like to see him face to face, and I would like this foundation, this fund, one of these proposed pieces that he will take it seriously, not stronghold any longer, and get serious and take the right step.
Beth?
It's all about justice. It's all about accountability. That's all that we want. And I think it'll help him to remove some of the cloud that is over his reputation and his legacy. And then, if we can go through a system of justice, the public will find out. Is he a saint, or is he a sexual predator?
Gloria Allred, thank you so much. And Beth in particular.
Thank you, Don.
Thank you.
Thank you, Don.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.